Hello everyone, welcome to this uMoya hour on Sangomas. My name is John Lockley and I'm a traditional Sangoma or traditionally trained Sangoma from South Africa. Sangomas are traditional shamans from Southern Africa. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about Sangomas, how someone becomes a Sangoma, what do their lives look like, and the way forward in terms of Sangomas in this postmodern world. So before I start, let me do a bit of a meditation because this is the uMoya hour, and uMoya means prayer. It means wind, the wind of spirit. So let me do a few calling chants to welcome people in and also to welcome in our own spirits, our own ancestors. So wherever you are, I encourage you to drop into your heart, because that's the focus of this work, is your own heart and your bones and your humanity. So sitting upright, feel your spine, feel your bones, and concentrate on your heartbeat. And let me play my drum. Wamkelekila manyange. I welcome in the ancestors. Wamkelekila iminyanya. I welcome in the silent hidden ones. Wamkelekila magqirha. I welcome in the Sangomas and my Sangoma elders. Amanyange, amanyange. Abazali bammo, bammo, abazali bammo, bammo, abazali bammo, bammo, abazali bammo, bammo. Feel your own heartbeat. Welcome in your own ancestors. Down your mother's side. Turn to your left. Welcome in the ancestors down your mother's side with grace and dignity. Turn to your right and welcome in the ancestors down your father's side with grace and dignity. Welcome in your guardian spirits, your imanyanya, your isilos, animal spirits, your totems. Welcome them in. Yeah, I'm young, yeah. Yeah, I'm young, yeah. Yeah, I'm young, yeah. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. And now drop in and listen to your heartbeat. Just take a moment to listen to your heartbeat. And if you just joined, then send a few hearts so that I know you're here in the room with me, or you're here on this live feed. Send some hearts so that I can feel you, so that I know you're there. Couple of hearts, guys, come on. Okay, so listening to your heart and connecting with your bones, and just feel that space inside of you. And now, I'm still waiting on those heartbeats from all of you. Okay, here we go. A couple of heartbeats. Thank you. So there's a few people here. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. So my rationale or feeling about talking about Sangomas is just to help spread a little bit of education and awareness about who Sangomas are. Sangomas are traditional healers. That's the way we are known in South Africa. We are also known as traditional shamans by the international language. And sadly, for the last 300-400 years, African spirituality and Sangomas have been terribly demonized by the Western world. And when I go on my travels, I hardly ever come across African shamans overseas. And when I do give my public talks, often people will very quietly and demurely at some point ask whether Sangomas practice black magic. So all I could say to all of you that Sangomas are healers. We don't practice black magic. And more than anything, what's needed to be looked at here is an understanding and an education about African shamanism. So what happened with colonization is that the missionaries came in, and also the colonizing forces, the soldiers. And the idea was to subjugate the local people. And the missionaries' jobs were to convert people to Christianity. So when they heard people talk about ancestors, when they saw people dancing bare-breasted and going into trance, they said it was demonic. And sadly, this information is what went back to Europe and went back to America and went back to the Western world. And 300 years later, people still don't have a really good understanding about African shamanism. So what we need to do is we need to forgive those colonizing forces and those missionaries for not understanding the local customs and cultures. And now in the year 2021, it's our responsibility to open our hearts and minds to Africa and to shamanism worldwide. So what I can tell you unequivocally is that Sangomas work with healing people. They work with healing people in all different ways. And the way someone becomes a Sangoma is they are given a calling, and that calling comes through dreams, and it comes through various kinds of psychic phenomenon. And one of them is what we call the ukuthwaza illness, which is the shamanic illness, or the international shamanic calling illness. And that calling illness is very extreme sometimes, and involves a lot of strong physical sensations of nightmares, night sweats, different kinds of illnesses. But there's a very strong psychic component to the illness. So where someone's physical body starts to get very weak, their energy of their body goes into the psychic realm, and at night they receive downloads of information from the spirit realm. And during the day, their body could feel very depleted, very exhausted, and they might have a low immune system, which means they can get all different kinds of physical illnesses. And this is what happened to me. So for over 10 years, I got all kinds of illnesses, and I got extremely sick. And at the same time, I had a lot of psychic experiences. So one of the experiences that I can speak about is a lot of Sangomas will dream about their ancestors, their departed mothers and fathers, their foreparents. They'll also dream about animal spirits and guardian spirits, who then come and teach them at night in their dreams, and they're given certain kinds of information. Then what the Sangoma does, or the apprenticing Sangoma, they go for a consultation with a Sangoma, an elder. And there's many Sangomas in South Africa, so there's many opportunities to go for a consultation. And then what you would do is you just keep quiet, and then the Sangoma elder would throw the bones. They'd do a divination, Or in the case of my teacher in the Xhosa tribe, she just closed her eyes and she just started channeling the spirits. And in my case, she said that I had a Sangoma calling and that the spirits are coming to me, giving me information. And then she spoke about the last 7 years of my life and how sick I'd got. What needs to happen then is when you get very sick in the Sangoma tradition, is you would go to a teacher or go to an elder, like in my case, and then they would do the divination, and then they would identify you as being an initiate, as being a Sangoma apprentice, and then they would invite you to train. So it's quite different in the West, where someone might decide to do a shamanic training course, and then go and do various workshops. In South Africa, to become a Sangoma, you need to be identified and you need to be invited. And more than anything, you need to show and demonstrate that you have the calling. And speaking about this now, I think another point needs to be made, and that is because Sangomas have been demonized in Southern Africa for so long, and also by the mainstream culture, it is not glamorized. So people don't see it as a thing to people don't want to become Sangomas. And when I've spoken to my friends and colleagues going back, elders in the communities, they say it's always been like that, going back hundreds of years. And they say because when someone's a Sangoma, they are empaths, they feel the suffering of the community, and it's not something that they want to wish on their children, because it's a very difficult calling. And if you look at traditional shamanism around the world, it's the same thing. To become a traditional shaman is a painful thing, because you get to feel the suffering of the world. It's not something to be glamorized. And above all, you don't decide to become a Sangoma. You don't decide to become a shaman. It's a gift that is passed on to you. So in the Sangoma tradition, like I say, you get this calling illness, and then you also get all these physical sensations and physical illnesses, and your body feels very weak. And then on top of that, you get these dreams and you get this psychic experience. Maybe you see the future, maybe you see the past, maybe the ancestors come to you and give you special kinds of information that you then go and share with people. Maybe you get to see what's coming in the world, future events. But all these experiences are then validated by the elders. So once you go for your consultation with a Sangoma and you explain, or you just keep quiet, you wait for the Sangoma elder to say, this is what your experience is. And as they do that, they are validating you. And then when it's your time to talk, and you confirm, yes, Mama, or yes, Father, this is what I have been experiencing, then they will say, okay, well, you have an opportunity here. And then they will ask you if you want to join and become the apprentice. And then they invite you in. And then you do ceremonies. And these ceremonies might last a few months in some cultures, like in the Zulu or the Swazi. Or the ceremonies might last 6 months, or they might last 5 to 10 years, depending on the culture, depending on the lineage that you have been called into as a Sangoma. So in my experience in the Xhosa, I did ceremonies for 10 years, because in the Sangoma tradition, it takes many years to do your Sangoma apprenticeship. And because of all the different spirits located in the wilderness, in the landscapes. So you'd be initiated in the landscape of, say, the sea, or the habitats, all the different habitats of man you get initiated in. So you'd go to the river and you'd be initiated, or you'd go to the sea and be initiated, or the forest, or the mountains, or the caves. So all these various habitats of man, you are initiated in to welcome in the nature spirits, to baptize you and to train you and to bring you deeper into the consciousness of nature. And so that's why the apprenticeship can take a long time. And 10 years was actually quick. It can take up to 20 years sometimes in the Xhosa tradition. So the most important thing in the Sangoma tradition is the calling. And you have the calling based on your dreams, and also the Twaza experience, the calling illness. Now, nowadays, a lot of Sangomas in South Africa struggle a lot with poverty because they're not being recognized by the mainstream, and also not being recognized by the Western world because of this negative colonizing information that was actually misinformation, to say that Sangomas are witch doctors and they practice black magic and people must stay away from them. All these kinds of things had a negative effect on the Sangomas. So with my work, I like to just talk about it in a very matter-of-fact way and say a lot of that is not true. And what needs to happen is Sangomas need to be pulled into the international world of shamanism, and they need to be loved and respected, because some of the Sangoma lineages are some of the oldest shamanic lineages in the world, and the world needs this ancient wisdom now more than ever before. We need the ancient wisdom of Isangoma, of the Sangomas from Southern Africa, because it's helping us, all of us, regardless of the color of your skin and of your gender. This ancient knowledge helps us to remember our humanity and teaches us, all of us, how to connect with nature, how to connect with the animal and plant spirits. Now, there is a bit of a revival happening in South Africa with the Sangomas, so there is a change happening, which is so beautiful to see. And the future of Isangoma, future of Sangoma medicine, I think is bright. And I'd like to help foster that and cultivate that, because the postmodern world that we're all in with technology is a world which needs soul. It needs spirit. It needs the drum of the Sangoma. It needs the chant of the Sangoma. And it needs the wisdom of the Sangoma, and how do we connect to the plants and animal worlds. So what I'd like to leave you with today is talking about illness. And illness is a calling for all of us. It becomes a specific shamanic calling when it is connected with a lot of psychic information in dreams, and when that is mixed into the connection with your body and how your body breaks down, then it's a clear case of a shamanic calling. And often this calling involves the nervous system, and involves the awakening of what you call the kundalini. In South Africa, we call it the umbelini. So we say the umbelini is rising. That's why we're shakamisi gazi. That's why your blood is shaking. That's why you have that nervous look about you, because that kundalini energy inside of you is rising up. And it's a scary thing. Sometimes it's a frightening thing. It's not something to be glamorized. It's something to be treated with a lot of respect and a lot of care, because it's shaking your whole worldview. It's shaking the very fabric of your being. So I'd like to just sing a song for my Sangoma colleagues, and I'd like you to join in wherever you are. And the song is Sondela Mama, and it means come closer, great mother. And wherever you are, whether you're struggling from illness emotionally or physically, I'm going to play my Sangoma drum, which came to me in a dream, and then I found the drum in the heart of Johannesburg. And when I played the drum, people came in from outside. All the people came in because they heard the drum of a Isangoma. So the particular drum rhythm is a trance rhythm, and it's the rhythm to help us, all of us, connect with our dreams and connect with our ancestors. So this is the drum rhythm that I was trained in, and a drum rhythm that we all play in South Africa that helps all of us to move into the spirit world. So when I play this drum, people all around the world receive dreams. Wherever I go, whether it's Mexico or New York or Tokyo, people connect with their ancestors. So this is not just music. This is sacred music. And this comes from my community in the Eastern Cape, community of Sangomas. So one of the mistakes the missionaries made, sadly, and like I say, I don't want to blame them, I just think we need to be aware of this. When they heard the Sangomas talking about ancestors and going into trance, they thought that the Sangomas just worshipped their ancestors and they didn't know God. And that was the furthest from the truth that I've ever come across. When we sing and dance, we come very close to what we call uMoya, the Great Spirit. And like I say, we need to forgive the mistakes of our forefathers because of ignorance, but we need to open our eyes and remember history. History is not a country that many people want to go and travel to, but it's something that we need to look into in order to heal the past, in order to move into the future in a good way. So let me play my drum, and I hope my drum can bless you wherever you are. And when I'm playing my drum, if I could just ask you just to hold my Sangoma community in your heart, and all the Sangoma communities of Southern Africa, and know that this is a very beautiful path, and that it's shrouded in misunderstanding. And what we need to do as a human family is open our hearts and our minds and start to learn from one another. So let me play a little bit more of the drum and then I'll come back to you. Okay. And you are welcome to join in, and you're welcome to send a few hearts as well so I can see you. Send some hearts for me. Let's see them flashing on that screen. Thank you. So here we go. This is Sondela Mama. And when I'm playing it, I want you to feel that trance rhythm. I want you to breathe into it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, 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 yeah. We honor and praise our ancestors. We honor and praise the Great Spirit. We honor and praise the Sangomas, the elders of old, who've helped bring this ancient wisdom into the 21st century. Despite war, misunderstanding, prejudice, They've done it. And now it's our job as the living generation to take this wisdom and medicine and make it grow. Our job is to breathe into the heartbeat of the drum and to expand it and make it grow. So feel your heartbeat, feel your prayers. And I'm going to do another rhythm now, another song, dedicating to all those people who are struggling right now from illness. Emotional, physical, psychological, all illnesses are calling. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a shamanic calling, but it is a calling. And the calling of illness is to come back home to your spirit, to come back home into your heart, and to feel your joie de vie. Why are you alive? And this is what the drum does. The drum helps wake you up, helps you connect with who you are. So let me do this. Let me play my drum for a bit. And let this be an opportunity for you to calibrate your spirit and to connect with your bone people, your ancestors. So I'm calling in our parents, our ancestors. Abazalibam. So breathe in the sound of the drum. Let this ancient sound and rhythm percolate inside of you. Shake you up inside like an African thunderstorm. Shake your body, shake your body, shake your body. Don't be afraid, shake your body. Hey, 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 hey. Nose and you're breathing out through your mouth. So it's a bit like this. So the most important thing about illness is that we need to respect the illness. Whatever illness you have, whether it's psychological or emotional, listen to it and respect it, because that's your vulnerability. And as you do that, then you get closer to the calling of the illness. What's the source of the illness? And this is what we all had to do as Sangomas, and that's why the training takes so long, because we had to feel the illness and then also feel the call of the illness, and then on top of that also feel the spirits calling us and the information that they were giving to us in dreams. So a big part of the Sangoma apprenticeship is dreaming. So we'll get dreams at night, and those dreams will come from our spirits, they'll come from our ancestors, and that forms the wisdom that then we bring into the world. It informs the medicine and how we're going to use our psychic and intuitive gifts in the world. So dreaming is a very important part of the practice and the training. I'm going to be speaking a bit more about dreams on my webinar on Saturday. So for those of you who are very interested in dreams, then please have a look at my website and click those links. And you're more than welcome to join in on Saturday, which is tomorrow actually. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for listening to me about my Sangoma community and Sangomas in general in Southern Africa. I hope that I've helped explain a few things to you about Sangomas, and I hope it inspires you to go deeper with understanding African spirituality and shamanism generally. So if you like my live streams, then please push like on Facebook and YouTube, and feel free to also give a donation, because all the donation I get I'll use to help bump up the technology and make these live streams accessible to as many people as possible. So from my heart to yours, I thank you for listening. And today I'd also like to thank my friend Sean Bonzel and Star Child Productions, who've helped with the beautiful streaming and backdrops and things like that. So I wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.